Welcome to the Lee Library. My name is Mary Philpott, and I'm here with a very special guest today, and that's Sarah McColl. And Sarah grew up in Lee. She went to St. Mary's School. She graduated from Lee High School. And I'm very pleased to say she has written her first book that she has both authored and did the drawings for. This book was The Illustrator. So we've had Sarah before and reading to us from a book that she illustrated, but this is a very special book, and the book is Pout Party. So Sarah's going to read the book first, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the process of writing this book and some other questions. So welcome, Sarah. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And we're delighted. And this is a wonderful book, so you're in for a big treat.
Thank you. I'll just get started then. This is Pout Party. One sunny, shining, beautiful day, Rue woke up feeling grouchy and gray. The light was too bright, her breakfast too crunchy, her shoes were too tight, and her socks were too bunchy. Mom said, "Cheer up," and gave her a kiss, but she stomped off to school with a growl and a hiss. In class, she was snippy, snappish, and sour. When teacher said, "Smile," Rue gave her a glower. The songs were all glum, the lessons a bore. Nap time was dreary. The games were a chore. With her friends, she was prickly, bad-tempered, and rude. "Let's play a game," they said. "I'm just not in the mood." By the time recess came, she just wanted to shout, "No one understands. I just want to pout." I don't want to be cheered, and I don't want to play. So she picked up her pencil and made a display. "I'm having a pout party. You are all invited. No games, no cake. Don't be happy or excited." She stomped to the playground and put up her note. Her friends gathered close to see what she wrote. "That doesn't sound fun. I would rather go play." So they did, except Joy, who decided to stay. She thought that Rue seemed a little bit lonely. "Welcome to my pout party. Grumpy faces only." Her nose went scrunch, her eyebrows went zip, then she heaved a big grunt and stuck out her lip. Rue had to admit, "That's a pretty good pout, but I'm the best frowner, so you'd better watch out." She took a deep breath, and with all of her power, she summoned the grumpiest, gloomiest glower. "That's great," said Joy, "but I've got you beat." She grumbled and groaned and stomped with her feet. "That looks sort of fun. Can I try too?" Before long, the whole class was pouting with Rue. "You've got to be grouchier. Puff out your pout. Make your shoulders slouchier. Stick your forehead out." Their stomping and grumbling all looked sort of silly. And the faces they made, well, they looked funny, really. They made such a ruckus, as Rue looked around, she stifled the tiniest giggling sound. But her giggle then grew and started to spread. They laughed and they howled till their faces were red. Rue felt better than ever before. "I don't think that I need to pout anymore." When recess was done, she lined up with her friends. The Pout Party was fun. We should do that again. And Joy said, Rue, if you ever feel cruddy, you don't need to worry. I'll still be your buddy. Well, if anyone else feels like having a pout, I think that it's just fine to let it all out. The end.
That's great. That is a great,
Thank you.
nice. So was this idea for this story yours, or was it from the publisher? How did this book get started?
Yeah, I came up with the idea kind of in 2 stages. Rue is based off of my own dog, who always looks like she's sad. She's a pug, so she has a very excellent pout. And I used to draw her in a party hat all the time because I thought it was silly. She looked like a party pooper. And so it started out with a sketch. And then the second part of it came from actually trying to break into the publishing arena. There's a lot of rejection. It's part of it. And me and my husband both got into this kind of habit of whenever we would get a rejection, instead of trying to cheer the other person up, we would just be like, let's have a pout party. And we're not going to try to cheer each other up. We're just going to like have a grumpy day, and that's fine. And I thought, that makes me less afraid to fail and less afraid to feel cranky. So if I'm getting something out of it, I bet kids would too. And so I tried to gamify it.
This is a great book for adults as well as it is for little kids. It's got a great message. It's got great characters in it. It's really a very interesting book. So how about Rue's friends? Where are they patterned after people you know?
Well, some of them are patterned after pets that I've had. I said that Rue is based off of my dog. Her friend Joy is based off of the family cat, Phineas, who's no longer with us, but he was a white fluffy cat, and I thought I would include him here. And the rest are just kind of, once you have a cat and a dog, I thought it would be kind of a pet classroom. So
It's really fun.
that's where that came from.
So was the whole idea put together before you went to the publisher with it, or did you just give a sample? How did that work out this time?
I created the whole book in sketch form, and there was a few color spreads just to kind of give them an idea of what I was envisioning for it, and I presented it as it's called a book dummy, and I just sent that around to the publishers, and it was kind of like already in spread format, so we could get an idea.
Well, that's very nice. So, and was this the same publisher as the other book that you had?
No, this one is published by Pow Kids Books. They're an independent publisher based out of Brooklyn, New York. So they were really nice to work with.
And I understand you've had some very nice responses from kids to your reading and to your book.
Yeah, it's always really great to see the kids show me their own grumpy faces. They get really into it. So that's pretty funny. I'm glad that they pick it up pretty quick.
I think it's just a great book. So do you have some ideas for other books now that you're thinking about?
I have a few that are kind of just in the idea phase that I'm trying to get put together, but yeah, we'll see.
Is this the age, kind of the age group that you like writing for?
It is. I wouldn't mind trying to write for maybe older kids at some point, just because I was a huge reader growing up, and I feel like the middle grade chapter books were what started me being a big reader, so I wouldn't mind dipping my toe in that. But I'm very new to the writing side, and it's not as easy to me as the painting side,
I'm sure.
so that's more aspirational than anything.
So do you write every day, or do you try to write every day?
I try to, yeah. And I recently got a new agent who's a literary agent, and she's been really helpful in giving me feedback and guidance on that arena, because I'm not as confident.
Well, it's all right. You've got an agent, and she can help you, and if you're willing to take criticism.
Absolutely. No, it's been very good. Just a growth mindset.
So have the kids asked you how, what it's like to write a book? They asked, what are some of the questions the kids have asked you about writing and about your book?
Not a lot of them have asked about the process, really. Most of them are interested in like
The dog.
who is the dog, who is the cat. But I think I just earlier this week when I was speaking to the first graders at St. Mary's, I did kind of give them like an overview of what how it works, and you know, just that how it all starts out as individual paintings that then get turned into a book.
Right.
So if you are someone who does like to draw and you want to use your pictures to tell stories, you can start out by just making standalone pictures that go together to tell a story, and that can get turned into a book.
And how about your favorite authors? Do you have favorite children's authors?
I do.
Children's book authors?
Yes. So I really like Phoebe Wall. She's done a lot of books that I find really inspiring and cozy. I love books that have like a little bit of magic in them. And she just did one called Little Witch Hazel that I thought was really cute. I also like a lot of the classics as well. I love Eric Carle. I like very simple shape illustrators,
Yeah.
so he had a lot of those, and Rebecca Green is another illustrator I really like. Who does
I think your
similar work.
eyes, as I recall, your eyes in the last book, I love the eyes. And the eyes give your characters all their images and all their character.
Thank you.
They're just wonderful. I love the way you illustrate with the eyes. I think that's great.
Thanks. Actually, for this book, the book dummy, all of them had dot eyes, and the publisher said that's a little too cutesy. We got to make it more funny.
There you go.
And so I tried to make the eyes a little bit more goofy. I can show you my favorite.
Okay, yeah, that would be great.
My favorite pout. This is Pout right here. The poodle girl who's screeching.
I love that one.
I like that one because I feel like you can almost hear it.
Yeah.
But
I believe we've had a few pout parties around here, so we can appreciate how your characters feel, and we could be stand-ins for some of your characters.
Oh,
I
me
think
too.
the idea of the pout party is just great because it's what people do, and it's actually, you always do feel better if somebody just leaves you alone and then you
Absolutely.
start talking and all. That's great. So, other things you want to tell us about your book or about your writing?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. This was written in rhyme, which was
Different.
a fun little challenge.
Yes.
But yeah, that's the process for that was more just I brainstormed a bunch of words that literally would rhyme, and I tried to formulate the sentences around it. So that was kind of interesting. I think my writing is really similar to my painting in that it like starts off very rough and loose before I render it. So,
And then it gets
yeah,
edited, a lot of editing.
yeah.
So who's your critic for when you want to read things aloud? And
Anyone who will listen to me. I send things to my parents to read all the time, and my friends, and then if they aren't giving me the kind of critique that I want, I'll be like, well, what about this particular page? Do you feel like it's clunky? I feel like read it out loud and tell me what you think. But
it's really important to read it out loud, and for your critics to read it out loud as well, because it has a very different feeling to it once you do read it out loud.
Absolutely.
The words are very important. So, well, that's great. Well, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for
This has
having
been
me.
wonderful.
Had a great
And
time.
I'm looking forward to your next book. That was what I said to you the last time, and here it is. And so
Thank
now
you.
I hope people will come to the Lee Library, take out Pout Party, and enjoy this book, both children and adults. It's a great book. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.